next blank page, we're going to write notes about Chapter 4. Chapter 4 vocabulary is all about school and school supplies. 4.1, la vida, not la vida loca, la vida escolar, which pretty much is la vida loca. La vida loca is a crazy life. So is school. Here we go. The first section, we're going to talk about school supplies. Now, remember what I really like to do is fold my page under so that I can hide the English notes away while I'm studying the Spanish later on. The first subsection I have here is school supplies. Earlier in the year, we learned about el, la, los, and las. We're going to be adding to that concept this time by learning about un, uno, un, una, unos, and unas. Same idea, but just kind of going further with that. The first thing I want you to write is un bolígrafo. Este es un bolígrafo. Este no es un bolígrafo. Este es un bolígrafo. Next, el lápiz. Este es el lápiz. Una carpeta. Una carpeta. This is not a cognate. A cognate is a word that sounds the same in English and Spanish. A carpeta is not a carpet. It is, in fact, a folder. Una carpeta. Next, una computadora. And I'll bet you can guess what that one is. Computer. That is a cognate. El cuaderno. You should know what that is because we use them in class a lot. Un diccionario. This is another cognate. What do you think a diccionario is? Yeah. La mochila. Mochila is one of those words that I had to come up with a trick to help me remember. Mochila is this right here. Mochila, mochila. Your backpack. The only way that I could remember that is I think to myself, I spilled my mocha and my mochila, and it was a hot mess. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. El papel. Este es el papel. Papel. For this chapter, we're going to be learning two verbs. We're going to be adding two verbs to our kind of lexicon of vocabulary here. Let's go ahead and draw a line. Another line here. And here's where we're going to separate out our verbs. When we're talking about school supplies, what is the big thing at the beginning of the school year when it comes to school supplies? Get discount. Why?
Back to school.
Because people are going back to school, which means
You might run out of stuff.
you gotta go buy a bunch of stuff, right? So when we're talking about school supplies, it all is about what do you have and what do you need. And that's what our verbs are for this unit. Necesitar. Notice that is an AR verb. Necesitar. What does necesitar sound like to you?
Necessity.
Necessity. And a necessity is a need. Necesitar is to need. Then we have the verb tener. We learned the verb tener first when we were talking about how many years you have. ¿Cuántos años tienes? And you say like tengo, however many years you have. But with the verb tener, it's hard to remember what it means. What does tener mean?
I have.
Tengo means I have. The verb tener means to have. You can think of it like I have 10 fingers. Tener, to have 10. Any little trick to help you remember. Next, you're gonna learn some sentence starters for use with this vocabulary. If you're talking about the classes that you have, you might say, for example, primero tengo. This is if you're talking about your schedule. Primero tengo.
Look at us.
Después tengo. Mi materia preferida es. Mi materia preferida es. What does materia sound like? Material. This is how you're going to say what your favorite subject is. Now, when I did study abroad in Peru, I had to get some supplies while I was there. And so maybe if you do study abroad, you're talking about what school supplies you need, you're going to need to know how to say or how to understand que necesitas para la clase de. Now for the rest of this video, I'm going to go ahead and fill this in, and then I will show a still of that, and you're going to want to pause it to copy down the rest of the video. Okay, so as promised, here's my finished notes. If I'm talking about my classes, I can say what I have first, what I have after, my favorite subject, and then I can ask those questions like, what do you need for different classes? What's your favorite subject? If you're talking about your schedule, you could have any of these classes. Most of them are cognates. Then, of course, my buddy Al, aka Mr. Morso, his favorite meal of the day is lunch. And you eat lunch in la cafeteria. So you're going to want to get these notes either from your 4.1 Quizlet vocabulary, or you can find them at the end of chapter 4. At the end of chapter 4, you'll have all of your vocabulary for 4.1 and 4.2, and that would be found on page 149. Make sure you're studying your vocab on Quizlet. Buena suerte!